Hey y'all, so welcome to another full moon reading. As you can see, this is the Aquarius full moon, and though it happened a couple weeks ago, I do want to do the usual ritualistic ceremony. Now, for this particular reading, the energies for the collective is what's your purpose. Now, Aquarius is the 11th house and it is an air sign, and it's also a fixed sign, part of the fixed sign elements. So this would be Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. And when it comes to the 11th house, which represents Aquarius, is very much the energy of collectives. So collectives in the sense of a committee, an organization, a political party. It could be friends. It could be whatever common maybe interest, common maybe hobby, common whatever that draws people in together for a particular goal, for a particular mission. And with the 11th house, it's also associated, we're talking about the chakra points, it would be like the crown chakra. So the very top of the chakra alignment. So it would be the crown chakra. So when it comes to the crown chakra, it's very much your connection with spirituality, your connection with the divine, your connection with nature, your connection with this plane. And with that crown chakra energy, it allows you to see things from a different perspective in a more deeper and even less surface level. It's very much transparent. It's kind of like when you have that gut instinct, you have that gut feeling, you have that airy feeling, the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, or there's someone, the way that they said something or the way that they looked at you, just like, this ain't it. You just sense something. It wasn't even something that was said, but something that peeked at you, something that was like, this is a red flag. That's very much of that crown chakra energy. The ability to read beyond the surface level, the ability to decipher, the ability to understand what is for you, what is not for you, the ability to understand that certain people, they have the gift or gab and they use it and they weaponize it for their own selfish gains. We see this all the time when it comes to public figures, people that we thought this was one way in the public, because the 11th house, group collectives, also deals with the public. You know, usually when people are in groups, they're publicly in groups, right? Even if it's, let's say, a private organization, but it's not like at someone's private residency. Usually it's at some club, some type of facility. So with a lot of people in high places, let's say the Harvey Weinsteins, the R. Kellys, the Cosbys, the so on and so forth, a lot of people are seeing that a lot of things are surface level. A lot of things are being put on as an act. They present this way, good, clean cut, relatable, but behind their closed doors, they're abusers, they're liars, they're manipulators. So the ability to use that crown chakra and see through the facade, see through the niceties, the rose-colored lenses, the status quo and accomplishments, the ability to decipher truth from fiction, and the ability to not get caught up in other people's nonsense or other people's, let's say, cult of personality, or other people's culture war, or I'm team this, I'm team that. The ability to sit back and be like, you know what, two wrongs don't make a right, or just because I don't like this thing does not mean that I'm going to vote for that thing. Like, I'm not going to say murder is wrong, so therefore stealing is wrong, or murder is right and therefore stealing is right. Like, the ability to see that two things can be wrong and neither one is better than the other, especially when we're talking about politics. A lot of people will say, well, vote for the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils is still evil. And ultimately you end up with people racing towards the bottom, because it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this evil thing, but I'll do like smaller evil things. Evil is evil, no matter how you try to conceptualize it. Just like corruption is corruption, no matter who is doing it, right? So with the 11th house, with your purpose, this is the time for you to start aligning with your purpose. Not thinking about it, not dreaming about it, not saying I'm gonna do it, not just sitting and writing plans about it, but the ability to take action. And because we live as human beings, and human beings are very much social animals, the way that we achieve our goals is by collaboration. Again, the 11th house group collectives. If we do not align, then oftentimes our goals don't get met, especially if we are a particular class or we are positioned in, let's say, the lower tiers of society. This could be like the working class. This could be, let's say, the lumpkin proletariat. This could be disabled, or whatever the case may be. If you're in a disenfranchised position, it's harder to get your goals accomplished, no matter how well-intentioned they may be, no matter how passionate, how empathetic, how healing, how universal, how transformational, whatever wording you want to give to it. If you don't have those connections, if you don't have that power, if you don't have that money, if you don't have that influence, it will just remain an idea. So with the 11th house, it's also talking about the way that we collaborate, and how do we collaborate for a particular intentions, goals, missions, whatever. And with the 11th house, it's also the house of technology, communication, air sign. Just like you're about to see this video when I upload it onto my YouTube channel, Paint Your Truth. It's over Wi-Fi, it's over the internet. So technologies include the internet. How do we connect with the world, and what are we connecting for? A lot of people say social media is exhausting, and truth be told, it is. But is it exhausting because it's the internet and it's just available? Or is it exhausting because what you're interacting with, who you're interacting with, what you're spewing out there, what you're absorbing? What is your algorithm set up like? What is the content that you watch? What is the things that you search for? Are you always anxious? Are you always battling? Are you always capping, literally putting your letters in your wording in cap letters? Are you always in the energy of turmoil and just being riled up? Why is that? Why do you feed into that? Why is the algorithm showing you that? As well as, what is your intent being on the internet? Is it just mindless scrolling? Is it escapism? You might have a particular interest. It could be, maybe you like cat videos. Maybe you like to know what's the latest technology. Maybe you're part of some justice organization, whatever the case may be. What are you collectivizing for? Because not to get religious on you, and you know how I feel about religion, but there is a saying that goes, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. And that is to say, if you're not productive, if you don't have a particular goal, if you don't have a particular interest, it's easy for you to fall to the wayside and engage in things that are unbecoming, or things that are just a waste of time, waste of energy, engaging in things that do not benefit you. That is not to say that you always have to be on work. You always have to be ripping and running to do things, because you also have to take time out. Again, the 11th house, Aquarius, the mind, the crown chakra. If we overwork our mind with stress, what happens? We end up having mental health crises. There's only so much productivity that you can get out of a human being. There's only so much things that you can get done. There's only so much stress that you can take on a daily basis until you crash, until you exhaust and you burn out, or you have a mental health crisis. So with our productivity, how are we utilizing it? Is it being efficient? As well as, are we getting a fair deal for the productivity that we're putting out there? What do I mean by that? If your productivity benefits other people, i.e. the owners of production, so this would be like the Jeff Bezos to the Amazon versus the Amazon workers who actually are dispensing their labor, their energy to make Amazon a multi-billion-dollar company. But because Jeff Bezos owns Amazon, he owns and he's able to cipher all the wealth and give pennies to his workers under the system called capitalism. But overall, take Amazon out of the equation, take Jeff Bezos out of the equation. Hell, even take the Amazon workers out of the equation. Plug yourself. What are you doing? Who is it benefiting? And how is that relating to your everyday life? Is that agitating you? Is that stressing you out? Is that fueling, again, 11th house, crown chakra, Aquarius, mental health issues, mental health disturbances, right? Especially when you feel alone, you feel like you're just lost in a crowd and you're not interconnected with people, with organizations, with associations that might be working on issues that matter to you. Let's say, for example, maybe you're interested in housing issues. Let's say affordable housing, or trying to bring rent control to your city or your state. If those are things that interest you because you're being priced out, you're seeing your neighborhood get gentrified, those are causes that align with your interests. So you probably should find what is available in your area and collectivize with other people who are equally as passionate as you. And if there are not any organizations that currently exist, be that organization to exist. Get other people who are interested together and make things happen. Again, we live as very much social animals. That's who we are as human beings, as well as because we are everyday people. And that's the beauty of everyday people, because it is everyday people who make history. Nothing gets done if it's not the average everyday people doing it, because we are the working class. We do push the culture forward. Without us, capitalism would not exist in a lot of these other isms. But that's not what you came here for. So, redirecting the energy. Overall, we, the everyday people, make things happen. Rosa Parks is just a Black woman, and just a woman, just a human being in general. The same thing can be said about Malcolm X. The same thing can be said about countless other people. Karl Marx, Carl Jung. These are everyday people who made history because they took it upon themselves to go where no one has gone before. But also, they did it for the collective, with the collective. So the hero that we often search for, whether it's in television, whether it's in synchronicities, signs, symbols, whether it is in folktale or reading materials, media, whatever the case may be, religion, we are our own heroes, because there is no one who's going to save us from our current conditions. So with the topic being, what is your purpose? You have to figure out, are you being fulfilled 360? Let's think about it. We have the crown chakra, we have the third eye, we have the throat chakra, we have the heart chakra, we have the solar plexus, we have the sacral chakra, and then we have the root chakra. All 7 chakras, and they align. And when they are disaligned or imbalanced, then our whole aura is off, and it shows within our behavior, right? So the crown chakra is the very top chakra. How are we making the best of the time that we have? Again, air, right? Once time has passed, we can never get that time back. That is the most precious of things that we have, right? Whether we're talking about countdown to climate catastrophe, countdown to summer vacation, when you were a kid, I'm pretty sure you couldn't wait until summer vacation. You're like, oh, there's only like 10 more days left and school's going to be over. Like, the time that we have and the way that we utilize our time indicates what legacy we're going to leave on this earth, as well as what the history books remembers us by, right? So many people didn't make history. Most people will never make history, right? Whether it's international, whether it's national, whether it's local, whether it's just on your block. Most people will not make history. Those who do make history, it's because they had a particular interest, they had vision, they had collective people power, and they continued marching forward to benefit the collective. And that became their purpose, and that became their historical contribution to this thing called the human collective. As a collective, we are all experiencing the same exhaustion, the same despair, the same anxiety. the same uncertainty, the same economic crunch. We are all feeling the housing instability. Even those with mortgages are thinking, hey, with this inflation, I don't know if I can keep up with these payments. We are all going through the same collective exploitation. The question is, underneath this Aquarius full moon, is how do we carve a slice of heaven for ourselves, but also how do we strengthen this thing called community, this thing called the collective, this thing called life? Because without each other, things don't get done, right? Let's think about it. What y'all have for dinner? You may have cooked it, may have ordered it, but I'm pretty sure you didn't plant the seeds. I'm pretty sure you didn't harvest it. I'm pretty sure you didn't package it. I'm pretty sure you didn't shelf it. I'm pretty sure you didn't do all of that. Those are other people who did that work for you just so you can have the dinner that you're eating. Without the collective, we will not survive. So with finding our purpose and what is driving the collective, it is this need for stability, this need for community, but also this need to be radically authentic. Crown chakra, you're connected to your ancestors, you're connected to the divine, you're connected to the collective unconscious. You're seeing things that other people don't see. Maybe you're seeing fairies, maybe you're seeing the ancestors, people part of your ancestral lineage. Maybe you're having very vivid dreams. Maybe you're able to talk to your inner child, heal your inner child. Maybe your brain and your body have finally synchronized, and that's a legitimate thing. Ask anybody who struggles with mental health. That's the legitimate thing. Your mind is one entity in and of itself, and your body is a separate entity in and of itself. And maybe at this particular stage of your life, you just ended a particular cycle, and now your brain and your body work together. Instead of your mind saying this, that, and the third and overworking itself, your body feeling like you're never good enough, it's never keeping up. Perhaps this is the time in your life, a particular season, where it's like you work with the body that you have and the mental health that you're currently embodying. And that's good enough. It's interesting because I was on Twitter and someone, any user, I forgot what particular user said it. They said something like, basically, I am taking a mental health day. I am re-watching and binge watching on my favorite shows. Please do not reach out to me. Reach out to this particular person other than me if you need help. Listen, this is 2022. What you can't do today, you could always do next week. And it was just so refreshing because that is so true. We have lived in an environment where we always feel that we have to overproduce. We have to go above and beyond. We have to stay late nights. We have to hustle. We are exhausted as a collective. What we can't do today can wait next week because honestly, supply chain is backed up. The Great Recession is still happening. The shelves are still empty. Everything is delayed because we cannot continue going on 1,000 and not taking set time out for self, not taking time out for mental health, not taking time out for self-care. And because of that, it's a reflection on the collective. Conversations about mental health weren't really in vogue pre-pandemic. People were just like, hustle through, you're making excuses, mental health is not really a thing, you're just a snowflake. Now experiencing the pandemic, long haul COVID, economic instability, housing issues, and so on and so forth. Of course that's affecting people's mental health. We're seeing this unfortunately, with the shootings and unfortunate violent actions and retaliatory situations. But we're seeing no, mental health is a legitimate thing. Stress is a legitimate thing. And that is not good for the body, the mind, and the soul. So with this Aquarius full moon, how is the collective going to get in tune with their purpose, and what are they collectivizing for? Are they collectivizing? Are you collectivizing? How are you collectivizing? And being an armchair revolutionary is a real thing. Being a champagne socialist is a real thing. Being a limousine Marxist is a real thing. Grifting is a real thing. But you also don't have to contribute to that. You can also be a person who's about it, being in your community, right? Oftentimes these people who have the biggest platforms and the biggest visibility, it does not translate in real life. When they go for, let's say, political positions, or they go out into the real world, if they're not scared of the working class, because a lot of these people who work making content, they don't actually interact with real people in the real world. They're very socially awkward at best. They talk a lot of big game on the internet because they're looking for cult following. They're looking to create social relationships, so the cult of personality. They're looking for fanatics. They're looking for sycophants. They're looking for people who need a leader. But offline, out of the retweets, out of the likes, out of the reshares, it does not translate the same. And their influence does not either. Truth be told, social media has been used, yes, to quickly communicate with one another. But we have not become a community. If anything, we've become very much enemies of each other, hostile towards each other, angry, impatient with each other, barbaric, threatening, violent. Social media supposedly was created to communalize and bring people together, but it has done the opposite. And that has translated into the real world. It's interesting because I mentioned how people don't really say good morning anymore. Pre-social media, I remember everything. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It might not even be morning. It might be 2 p.m. and people might still hit you up with good morning. People don't say good morning anymore. People don't really look people in the eye anymore. People don't really go out of their ways to start a conversation or to even compliment people like, hey, I like your shoes or whatever. People don't really associate. It's like everybody is afraid. Everybody is insecure. Everybody is hesitant. Everybody is anxious around each other, because that's the energy we carry onto social media. And that is what is reflected to us on our pages, the algorithm, who we follow, the ads that we see. So with the crown chakra, the unconscious is being reflected in the conscious. How we feel about society because of the content we engage and we consume is how we interact with each other in real life. So you have to see the intricacies of that when dealing with the collective. You might be further ahead in your journey, further ahead in your purpose, further ahead in your ascension than others. But that doesn't mean that you have to dim your light or wait on others to get it together and see what you see. People will bicker with you and try to one-up you to validate capitalism, but nothing radicalizes a person than their material conditions, boo-boo. Soon as you find out that you got the pink slip and rent due on the 1st and you only got $2 in your account, nothing radicalizes you quick, fast, in a hurry than that. So sometimes you got to allow people to experience life, to see things the way that you see the material conditions for the collective, the stress that you see for the collective. Sometimes you got to let them break. You got to let them go through their tower moments and let them come back with humility and organize, right? Because we all have a learning period. We didn't wake out the womb, come out the womb woke. We didn't come out the womb knowing everything. We all have been wrong before, took a particular stance that was incorrect. But also, don't allow people to dim your light because they're not ready to take certain positions or they're not ready to do certain things. Your journey is your journey. We are having our individual journeys as a collective on this earth. But you have more time with you than you do with anybody. You go to sleep by yourself. You wake up by yourself. You use the bathroom by yourself. You go places by yourself. Like, you are you with you most of your life. Most of your time you are with yourself. So that's the strongest relationship that you are building. And you're building that relationship with yourself through the collective as well. It's one thing to sit on theory. It's another thing to actually enact it in the collective. and you're learning as much about yourself through that process, as well as learning about yourself through the eyes and the camaraderie and the experiences and the solidarity and the loyalty and the triumphs and tribulations with the collective. Right? So I didn't want to get too deep and make this video too long, because technically I am late. But I did pick out a card from, I didn't even really pick it out, it actually fell. I did shuffle, swish, and it fell. So the Sacred Destiny Oracle deck, and the card that came out was Miracle. And with this particular card, it has a double rainbow. And I saw this card before, and it grasped my attention because I was like, damn, those are two rainbows, back to back. And rainbows are interesting things because rainbows often represent new beginnings, blessings, transformations, especially the rainbow comes after the storm. You don't get a rainbow without having a storm. So after the rain, the chaotic wind patterns, maybe some lightning and thunder, here comes a rainbow. And a rainbow is kind of a mind trickery too, right? Your crown chakra, 11th house, the mind. Is it perception? Perception is reality. What you think you see, sometimes we believe. And salt and sugar from a distance look the same. You can't tell what's what from a distance. So sometimes it's the mind. Like I said, social media, is my mind playing a trick on me? Again, psychological warfare, the algorithm, implanting certain ideas into your head. A lot of people got cultized by QAnon and MAGA hats because they were online. And again, the algorithm feeding them certain content that is not good for them overall. So you got to wash your mind as you are washing and purifying your body as well from the inside out. You're drinking your water, you're resting, you're eating your fruits and vegetables, the same things that should be going on with your mind. Reflecting on content, seeing if it's reactionary, seeing if it aligns with science or it just makes sense, seeing is it real, so fact checking, finding a primary source, not some quote, not some meme, but something that's actually factual based in data and science, right? But back to the rainbow. The rainbow is basically how light hits water at a particular angle. It looks like a rainbow, and it's not a quote-unquote real thing in the sense of, like, let's say wood, you can actually hold it, it's actually a part of a tree, whereas a rainbow is more of an optical illusion. And I will read to you what Miracles has to say for the collective in regards to what is your purpose and finding said purpose within the collective. Miracles, double rainbow. After the storm, the rainbow appears, no matter where we are. The instant a rainbow splashes across the sky, we usually stop and stand in awe. Some say that rainbows are messages from the Creator. Others say that they are a part of the electromagnetic spectrum phenomenon. But no matter the explanation for their existence, rainbows have stuck awe in the hearts and souls of many through time. Many traditions believe that rainbows are blessings from the Creator. A double rainbow is double the blessings. The sacred landscape wants you to know the storm of the past are passing and your dreams are coming true. No matter what has happened in the past, your future holds abounding miracles, good fortune, celestial beauty, and inner divinity and expanding within you. Believe that your life is guided. Trust in the goodness of the universe. A celestial bridge to the heavens is opening for you. Start a health program, invest in your career, or initiate a relationship, and good fortune will manifest. Blessings are flowing in all directions. Believe that you deserve the best, because you do. Bounty, joy, blessings, and miracles are flowing your way. So that's a powerful message. And as I was reading, Spirit wanted me to let you know, It might apply to every little baby listening to this, or it might apply to some. Y'all know your lives. But if you're at a place, let's say a job, and they're not taking you seriously, they're not paying you your worth, they're not respecting you, this is the season to play musical chairs in the sense of strategic, because we're talking about crown chakra, so we got to be sharp, got to be fixed like the Aquarius, got to use our minds. Strategic is not leaving your job and then be like, oh shit, I have no way to pay rent. Strategic is, unfortunately, we're going to have to be here a little bit longer, but we're looking, we're fixing up our resumes. If you have been out of the workforce for some time, do, bold, caps, underline, in red, see a hiring agency. That this could be from a state, this could be a local agency, one of those workforce type of programs, because they will help you refresh, rebrand, redust this dust, blow the dust off of your resume. Okay, they will shape it and help create a resume that best explains your ability and what career that best suits you. Okay, no matter how great you are at your job, no matter how long you've been there, if you feel like you're not getting your just dues, if you feel like they're not covering for inflation, if you feel like you've been exhausted, you're tired, let's say you're working with energy vampires, you're working with narcs, you're working with psychopaths, you're working with people who are demon time energy, just low vibrational, this is the time for you to be strategic. This is your time to brush that dirt off your shoulders and get it done, and make sure that you are getting your fair share. There's no point of leaving one sucky job just to go to another sucky job. Another part, if some of y'all are at a job and you really love your job, you really love the people that you work with, but you may not like management, you may want certain benefits, you may want higher pay, unionize, unionize, unionize. Bold, caps, underline, in red. Do that. Especially if you've already been complaining to your coworkers, you've already been complaining to your manager, a lot of y'all agree on the same things. The nation's already going union anyways. We have the Starbucks unions, we have the Amazon unions, we have so many other companies and businesses, small and corporate, that are pushing for unionization. Chipotle push for unionization. Do so if you like where you're actually working at. You may like the location, you might like certain benefits, you might like your coworker, you might be really good at it, whatever the case may be. But there are some elements about the work that just ain't working. Unionize. So that's for a particular person or collective. But yes, very much spend your time, the most valuable thing that you have that you will never get back. Spend your time aligned with your purpose, whatever that may be, whether it's career, whether it's relationships, because we do have that double rainbow meaning, beginning, meaning newness, meaning refresh, blank slate, clearing out stale energy. But also, if you want to, let's say, call someone out or call a particular entity out, this is the time to collectivize with people. You know, we all have certain skills. Maybe you're good at writing. Maybe whatever you're doing takes political, or not even just political, but it could take, let's say, legal, so justice. So you might need to get connected with a community lawyer or someone who does pro bono work. Like, it might take some research. So this is the season to do so. Yeah, and one blessing, and this is someone's ancestor. I'm getting a sense of like maybe some particular person is looking for some sign, some type of message, some type of symbol or something. There's a female ancestor that is older, like let's say a grandmother, let's say a great aunt. You may have known this person, you may have not known this person, you may have not had a relationship with this person. Let's say when you were born, they passed away, or they passed away when you were very young. This person's behind you. This person is safeguarding you, and this person legitimately has a machete. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, this person legitimately has a machete, but it's very much like I will defend for mine. It's very much mama bear, baby cub. And this particular ancestor is very much behind you, very much rooting for you, very much is securing you and strengthening you, especially when you go through anxiety moments, you go through moments of uncertainty, maybe second guessing yourself, imposter syndrome, you're going through like despair, maybe shitting on yourself, or you're like, oh, I'll never get out of this situation. Why me? This particular ancestor is behind you, rooting you on, and they're also throwing you symbols and throwing you sparks of light as messages to let you know that they are connecting with you. They are giving you certain pathways and signals and symbols for you to follow, and they want you to go down a particular path, a path that aligns with your authentic self, a path that makes you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually stable, and a path that aligns with what you're here to do, what makes sense to you. So this particular ancestor, she no joke. She's giving me very much Harriet Tubman vibes with a machete. And she has her hair covered. She has her hair covered, like, I don't know, everybody wears bonnets these days, but she don't got a bonnet. She got the old time style where you have like a square silk head wrap, and then you fold it until it looks like a triangle, then you wrap it around your head so you tie it in the back. She got that old school style. Like, that's her with the machete, and she'll bang for you. So if you needed some type of reassurance, that is the reassurance. So that is the reading for today. Hopefully it hits, hopefully it resonates. Let me know what you think. Comment down below. I didn't tell you where the astrology is, but you could definitely look it up if you so choose to. And one last thing. If you feel like a relationship isn't working out, whatever relationship this is, work, family, career, whatever, it could even be a particular living arrangement, whatever the case may be, if it feels like a chore, if you feel stressed out, if you feel it's taxing, if you feel like it's over stressing you, it's overdoing you, it's dominating, like you're waking in cold sweats, whatever the case may be, or you just feel cringe about it, you feel icky about it, you feel like this ain't it, this is the time to cut it out. Cut it out, cut them out, cut the cords, relinquish, whatever the case, cleanse the cords, whatever it is, release the attachment, release people, places, and things. This is that time. Divine timing. This is that message. This is that warning. Let it go. The more you prolong it, it will work against you. It's kind of like the Judas and Jesus example. You keep a person around that is not doing what they're supposed to do, or they're not acting accordingly, or they have flawed characteristics, or they're shisty, or they're scheming, or whatever the case may be. They might be out they might be out here selling things they're not supposed to sell, doing things they're not supposed to do. Cut those cords, cut those connections, because you will get caught up. You will be mentioned. But also, if you're looking for a sign, this is that sign. If it's not working out, don't. Because the energy that you needs to be devoted to the things that matter. So if it don't matter, it does not get your attention. Period. Stay away from cults. I feel like someone needs to hear that, and I am that somebody telling you that. Stay away from cults. Stay away from the gift of gab, the oil salesman, someone preying on your emotional instability or being reactionary. Like, this is the person to blame. These groups of people, do not get caught up in that. I need to tell that to somebody out there. Do not trust in that charlatan. Do not trust in someone trying to play into your emotion, or selling you a get rich quick scheme, or telling you to invest in some cockamania story or cockamania ass get rich quick scheme. Do not fall for it. Do not fall for it. Especially if they want you to be a follower, they want you to join this, they want you to pay to do that. Do not get involved in no cult shit. Everything that you will need to know about me, if you would like a personalized reading, will be down below, as well as where to follow me on social media: Facebook, Paint Your Truth; Instagram, Paint Your Truth underscore. Don't forget the underscore. Twitter, Paint Your Truth. And if you're in the Massachusetts area and you would like to participate or host your own process painting workshop, definitely reach out to me via email at paintyourtruth.art@gmail.com. We can discuss what you're thinking of, the setup, how many people. I would provide all the materials, paints, canvases, paint brushes, water cups, and so on and so forth. So if that's something that interests you, definitely reach out to me and drop a note. If you would like to show your gratitude for this particular reading, you can always reach out to me via Cashapp at VWCine, $VWCine. So, thank you for tuning in, and I shall see you on the next full moon ceremony. So after this will be the Pisces full moon, the 12th house, wrapping up, and then we'll be starting a new cycle within the full moons, and that would be starting with Aries. But next up will be Pisces. And I shall see you in the next video, y'all. Take care. Peace.